Hello everyone, welcome to the Database Management Systems class, week number 3, and this is the lecture video for this week, week number 3 and 4. I am sharing with you the Blackboard for these 2 weeks. The objectives are listed up here as usual. We will be installing the Windows Server OS 2008 R2, and we are going to have a basic understanding of what a database management is. Here is the list of the instructional material provided for you. Here's the lesson plan. Here's a detailed instruction on how to install the Server OS in the VirtualBox. And the lecture video will be posted here as soon as I'm finished and processing. And here's some other issues, frequently asked questions that may be useful for you. Hopefully you don't need to look at them, but if you do run into any trouble, then look at these things, and there are some of the popular ones that might happen. Let's see, here is the list of the assignments that I'm assigning. As I mentioned to you, you will be installing the Windows Server operating system 2008 R2 in the VirtualBox that you created last week, and refer to that over there. I'm asking you a question about authentication methods. And so what 2 strong authentication methods would you recommend, and why are so many companies still using a weak authentication method? So this is sort of your thoughts. Do a little research online and give a short response to it to get a little discussion going. Here is your first Zybook assignment. And so I'd like you to click on this link to get into the Zybook to do the participation activities that I've assigned. Don't go there directly, but you need to click here to get to the Zybook so that your grades would be in sync with the Blackboard. So if you click here, it'll take you into the Zybook, and it'll take you directly to the beginning of the assignment activities, so you won't be able to navigate all over the place. If you want to just look around and do the things on your own, then log into the Zybook directly, as I have done here, in which case you can move around and do whatever you want to do. But whatever work you do by coming here directly, your grades will not be in sync with a Blackboard. So make sure you come to the Zybook by clicking to this one directly. Let me pull up the lesson plan and go over the lesson plan with you. So here's the lesson plan for week 3 and 4. And so as I mentioned to you before here, you need to install the Server OS in the VirtualBox. I'll do a quick little demo on how that looks like. Refer to the instruction. So if you go look at the instruction here, you should get this guy show up. It's a little long. I try to be as comprehensive as possible with all the screenshots and stuff like this. So follow this. It should help you get it all done. Anyway, let me do a little quick demo on this guy so that you will know. Put this guy out of the way. So I have a VirtualBox here. As you can see, I installed a lot of other stuff. So here I have installed a Windows Server. Notice I gave about 4 gigs of memory of RAM, and the display video memory 50 meg. I think those are the only 2 things that you need to know from here. And so if you can just click on to start. and you can kind of minimize this. I just want you to see how it looks like. So I'm going to do the control delete. Oh, by the way, so when you get to this, let me pull up the sign here. Pause for a second. So when you do the control delete now, you will be activating that command on your host computer, and so you will be rebooting your or affecting your host computer, and that's not what you want to do. So for you to do the control delete here, you can do one of two things. I am using iMac, so you can go input here, keyboard. If you're using a Mac user, then you can do this, right? You can choose. Yeah, you may not be able to see this guy here. So, but anyway, I'm clicking on the input here. Here's a keyboard, and then under the options you have insert, control, delete, and you can do that, which will bring me to this one. If you are using a PC, then you will do a control delete by issuing the press the right control key and right, meaning that there are two control keys on your PC, right? So right side of the space bar is what I'm trying to say, and then the delete on your the keyboard. So that should affect the virtual box. But anyway, so I'm going to just log in here. And then it just does it. I'll do that later. That's fine. Get rid of these two guys. So this is sort of the way it's going to look. You can take a screenshot of this and then just turn it in. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so that way that I know you actually installed it. Okay, so that's kind of pretty much it. Okay, then for the Zybook, I kind of already talked to you a little bit about it, so let me pause and bring in the Zybook. So I am showing you from the direct login to Zybooks rather than coming into it from the Blackboard link, because I want to be able to navigate whatever I wanted to show you here, because I'm not actually doing the assignment. So anyway, here is the list of the chapters and stuff, but you will be landing into the introduction to the database. As you can see, there are 5 sections here, and so there are some database basics that I'd like you to know, how it is different from what the differences between databases and database systems are, and then it'll talk a little bit about the query, SQL query languages, so you can kind of read about these guys here. You get to play the there are some participation activities that you can do. You can check on it. You can do the start. It'll go through the little videos there, so it's a little bit nice. Here's the participation activities that you can do. You can answer these, and if you get it wrong, you can try it again. Doesn't really matter. Here are some basic SQL statements that it talks about. We'll talk much more in detail, but this is just for a little overview of what we're getting into. So, and then here's some database designing and programming. We're not going to do a whole lot here. It's just mainly for you to just look at it. And so some ER diagrams, which we'll talk about later, but just want you to kind of see. And then MySQL, we're not using MySQL for this class, but it's still, at least I'd like you to be aware of MySQL. In addition to what we're doing, we're using a Microsoft Transactional SQL or T-SQL. but it is worth you knowing about the MySQL. So go through the exercises, read through them, and then as you're doing them, your grades will be synced back into the Blackboard. Okay. All right. Let me bring this back here. I mentioned to you already about the authentication discussion board, so maybe I will. Do that. Maybe I'll update this afterwards. And then what's coming down the pipe for the next section of the quarter or the term, I should say. So hopefully this will take you a good hour or two, maybe a little longer. So make sure you take your time doing this. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. So looking forward to receiving your work and have a good week.